Has this ever happened to you? My phone's dead. I can't make a call. I can't check navigation. What am I going to do? There's no chargers around. Today we're going to be looking at the As Seen on TV Power Pod. It's a portable charger that fits your phone. Let's see if it works out. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You, and my channel is dedicated to reviewing mostly As Seen on TV items. I look at some consumer gadgets, other household items. Once in a while, I do a little bit of a DIY just because I think it's a lot of fun. If that interests you, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and click that bell so you're notified every time I release a video just like this one. Now, let's see what this Power Pod that I purchased for $19.99, 20 bucks, at my local As Seen on TV retailer is all about. I do want to point out that the Power Pod comes in two different charging formats. You can either get the one for the iPhone, which is the one I have here, or there's the one for like the Samsung phone, that USB or micro USB 3. It's the kind for the newer Samsung. So those are the only two that I've seen. I just happened to get the one for the iPhone here. All right, so let's do a quick unboxing. So in here, I've got what looks like directions. Well, that's exciting. And then I have the unit itself. So it looks like I have a charging cord. I have the Power Pod. I have what looks like a keychain ring, and then like a little carabiner clip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read these directions off camera, and then we're going to put the Power Pod to the test. Does it really charge my phone? All right. So this is our first look at the Power Pod. It's, you know what? It's a pretty small little item. I've got a spot here for my keychain or the carabiner hook, and it's lightweight. You know what? It's a good size. To use it, you slide this toggle up and boop, there's the charger, and you notice the blue light comes on. So the directions say they recommend that you charge this fully before first use. But before we do that, I want to see if it fits on my case, because there's nothing that bothers me more than when I get a charger and I have to take the case off just to use it. So here we go. Power Pod, take one. Let's see if it plugs in. Oh, looks like it's gonna fit. Let's see. And we pop it in. Oh, it popped out. Nope, doesn't look like it's gonna fit. Let's try it again. Pop it in. Nope, it fell out. So I'm going to end up having to take this case off. So after I charge this, I want to see how long it takes to charge this very dead iPhone 7. So let's go charge the Power Pod. What do you think of the Power Pod? Is this a lifesaver or an As Seen on TV product you don't actually need? Let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Okay, to charge this, we take the micro USB cord and just plug it right in here to the Power Pod. This is a pretty short charging cord, so you have to have it relatively close to the outlet. What you notice here is there's a red light that it pulsates on and off, letting you know that it's charging. So what we're going to do is we're going to let it sit here for as long as it takes to charge, and once it's fully charged, we are going to try to charge our phone. It took about just under an hour for it to fully charge for its first use. You know that it's fully charged when this red light stays lit. Remember, if it's blinking still, it means that it's still charging. So they say if the Power Pod is completely dead, it takes about 90 minutes to fully charge, but we're ready here right about now. First use took just about an hour. So even though this part is pretty self-explanatory, I wanted to show you just hooking up your Power Pod to your little keychain. It's real simple. Just loop it on. I will say that this little keychain piece is kind of cheap, so it's one of those you might not want to use. You might want to get a little more one that's a little more heavy duty, because this one you can already banned, and I feel like you'll catch that on something and then you'll just end up losing the power pod. So my recommendation, if you get this, is to get a new keychain piece for it. All right, fully charged power pod, completely dead iPhone. All right. All right, so there it goes. It's plugging on, it's plugged in. There you go. There's the dead battery signal. So what I'm going to do now is, one, I know this is only supposed to be an emergency power, but I want to see if it will charge this completely dead iPhone from, of course, dead to full. Let's check back in a little while. I wanted to point out that when it's charging, this light here is blue. So when the unit itself charges, it's red. But when this is charging something else, this light here is blue. It's been about 55 minutes and the blue light that used to be right here telling me that this is charging is now off. So this charged up to 37% from completely dead, but the power pod directions tells me that this says 2+ hours of charge, but it didn't actually make it an entire hour. All right, let's wrap up this video of the power pod as seen on TV emergency power boost. If you're going into this, you need to know that this is just an emergency power boost. It is not meant to fully charge your phone to use again. So if you're out, phone's dead, pop this up, boop, put it in, and it'll work. Emergency phone calls, navigation, and the directions say it'll run up to 2 hours or charge up to 2 hours. The trials that I've done didn't even make it an hour and the thing shut off, okay? So I took my iPhone from 0 to about 37% in just under an hour. So I will say I still have the power charged into here. I mean, it's still at 37%, but this power pod is no longer functional. I'll need to charge it again. All right, so if I were to do a buy or deny, we'd have to look at the pros and the cons. All right, ready? So let's look at the pros. I really like how the charging port is built right in. Some of these little chargeable things here, you have to plug a cord into it, and then you take that cord and plug it to the phone, and you might lose pieces. This is there immediately. Even though I wish this was a little longer, hey, PowerPod, are you listening? Make this thing like, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch longer so that people with cases can keep their case on. That would be a good pro tip. Anyway, but I do like that this is built in. I like that I could use the phone right away. Apps and texting and calls and navigation, it all was functional right away running off of this. Now, let's talk about some of the cons. Well, I sort of listed this already. This is kind of short, right? And so I had to take the case off in order to use it. It didn't go for the full 2+ hours like it said. Those kind of things were frustrating to me. All in all, $20 is kind of an expensive price point, but there are some benefits, and I'm just going to go right back to this being built in. I wish I could use this for a Samsung phone too. PowerPod has a separate unit for that one for the Type-C version of the Samsung phone, so if you're looking for one or the other, you have to either pick. You can't have them both in the same PowerPod. Yes, this works. No, it does not do exactly what they say. But if you're looking for something in an emergency, absolutely. For myself, I actually use something called the Lime Fuel. And a buddy of mine, Ryan is his name, referred me to this. I get like 10 or 15 full charges to a phone on this. This thing's been sitting in my desk for about a year. I haven't used it, right? And I still have 100% battery on this. That's pretty impressive. I will say that this PowerPod says it'll last up to 3 months charged. The disadvantage is you don't know how much charge is in it, right? Because there's no indicator. I've actually let it sit for a week after I did my tests, and sure, it charged. I just don't know how much is in there. So that's kind of a hard thing to determine. I did try it on an iPad, and it did charge that as well, just in case you're wondering. Anyway, this was Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a great day. I really appreciate that you stayed around for my entire review video of the PowerPod. I would love it if you would check out another video that I did not too long ago. In the nature of extra power or maybe emergency things, I want you to check out the Sun Life emergency radio. Man, this thing's cool. It's got a crank to charge. There's a solar panel on here. Woo, it's got a bright light on the back side there, a flashlight here, a radio. This thing's got it all. I would love it if you would check on the review video up here. Hey, make sure you're logged into YouTube so you can see this rectangle pop up and I don't look like a crazy person. Check out this review video of the Sung Life emergency radio right here. I'll see you over there. Go ahead, click it. It's safe, I promise.